So Chrisean and Blueface are back in the news yet again. This time it's breakups and babies, and they went on to the No Jumper podcast and had quite an interesting interview. I don't even know if I would call it an interview after what happened. Shout out to one of my subscribers who wanted me to do this video surrounding this interview with No Jumper. I don't know if y'all know that podcast. It's on YouTube if you want to go watch the interview between Chrisean and Blueface and these people from this podcast. Wow. First of all, welcome back to Damieon After Dark. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button right below this video. Also, make sure you hit the thumbs up button, like the video. That way it gets shared out throughout the YouTube community and more people can find us. And last but not least, join the conversation. I would love to hear what y'all have to say about this video and about what's going on with Blueface and Chrisean. Okay? Okay, so let's start with the interview. Okay, so this interview, I've got a lot to say. I'm gonna try to shorten it. This interview was very, I don't want to say predictable. Yes, it was predictable, but let me just start by saying this. Chrisean, there's this thing about her, I feel like she's just self-sabotaging herself. Now, before y'all say, oh, well, what about what X, Y, and Z was doing to Chrisean? I'm going to say this. The whole interview was just a mess between the hosts and then between Chrisean and her attitude and behavior, because from the jump, you can tell that she just really didn't even want to be there. By her attitude, by her demeanor, by the things that she was saying, she really didn't want to be there at that interview, which was going to make it difficult for the host to pull and get answers from her, right? Now, on the flip side, whoever this host or this guy that was interviewing in this podcast, I just feel like this is a prime example of everybody can't be a podcast host. Everybody can't be a host, because this guy, he did not know how to navigate this interview. He let his feelings and emotions get way too in the way when it comes to interviewing her. And it was almost like he liked the drama. He liked going back and forth with her. Do you know what I'm saying? Now, Rock, like I said from the get-go, was kind of like, now if you watch the interview at the very beginning, he asks her why why you got tears in your eyes, baby girl? Why are you crying? What's going on? And she said, I'm on my period, or either I'm pregnant. And that turned into a whole ordeal. Well, which one is it? Are you on your period, or are you pregnant? Or you can't be pregnant if you're on your period. And it was just a lot of back and forth, which I actually kind of understood what Rock was saying in that moment, which is like, look, either I'm about to start my period, or I'm not about to start my period and I'm pregnant. And that's probably where the emotions are coming from. And they were like, well, what specifically are you crying for? She's saying there is no specific reason why she's crying. She's saying these emotions are coming from nowhere, and it could either come from a period that's about to start, or it's going to come from me being pregnant. So I don't get why they made that such a huge ordeal. Which one is it? Which one is it? It's like, really? Now, Rock is not innocent in this situation, because, like I said, you can tell that she didn't want to be there, in my opinion. And it feels like, for me, that she is self-sabotage. She embodies the word self-sabotage, because this girl is at her prime. And even they told her in the interview, like, you won't get this time back. This fame, this fortune won't last forever. Live in the moment. And that's my biggest issue with Rock, is you are in a place that thousands and thousands, hell, millions of girls, guys, whomever, would love to be in your position, to be on a hot reality show that's doing well, to be dating, a rapper or whatever, whether the relationship's toxic or not, to be and have millions of followers and millions of people recognizing you when you go places. And it's almost like Rock is not getting that. It's almost like she's not equipped to deal with this lifestyle. She wasn't ready for all this fame, or she just doesn't care, because in this moment in time, she's too engulfed in Blueface. She's too worried about what Blueface is doing, who he's fucking, who he's texting, where he's going. Did you see at home the tantrum that she threw? I mean, it was embarrassing. First of all, if it were me, if that were my partner acting that way, I probably would have done the same exact thing that Blue did. I have to commend him on that, because he really handled the situation. Now, some of y'all may disagree with me on this, but if I'm somewhere in a public setting, professional setting, and you as my partner are acting a fucking fool, and I have security or someone there that can de-escalate the situation, hey, handle this for me. I'm trying to work, because at the end of the day, that's what we're doing, right? They're working. They're at this interview. They're talking to these hosts. The hosts didn't even, like they said, they're like, we didn't even get to really get into the music. We didn't even really get to get into y'all's careers and the things that are going on because of the tantrum that Chrisean threw. And I saw someone on Twitter said, oh, well, the hosts were talking over her and being disrespectful and asking questions that she didn't want to talk about. And I get that. I side on that in certain ways. But she should have handled it in a different way. Like, she came off very snippy and snarky, and like, like even when the female hosts, who was very respectful to her from the get-go, would ask her questions, she'd be like, can I ask you a question? What? She'd have this smart aleck answer when it come to it. No respect for anybody around her. No respect for the hosts asking the questions. Let's not get into Blueface. We know she has no respect for her man. No respect for the people who are there filming the podcast, who are there to do a job. The assistants that are there. The people that are there. It's all about Chrisean and her feelings and what she's feeling at that moment. And the real problem is, if y'all want to get into it, is that she's a fucking child. She's what, 21, 22? She's never had to take any accountability in her life, really, for anything. And at the same time, she's a celebrity, so she's getting everything that she wants. She's getting paid for these reality shows and these appearances and these crazy moments that we're seeing. So she's being rewarded for her bad behavior. The girl is going to be a train wreck, and she's going to continue to be a train wreck because she doesn't have to take any accountability whatsoever. We've seen how she acts on baddies. And look, she can be a very entertaining girl. I've said that on here before. She's had funny moments when she's positive and she's smiling and she's happy. It's great. But for the most part, Miss Mamas is a fucking train wreck. And I think Blueface stays with her because, yes, part of him loves her. And it's hard for him to let go. But another part of him knows that it's good for his career. It's good for his career. And part of me watching this interview was thinking, when he had the opportunity to get her sent out, he got her sent out, but he also liked it because it was like, it's all about me at this moment. Now it's not just me and Rock show. It's back to just Blueface. They want to talk to me. We're going to talk about me, even though they ended up talking about her. Let's just be real. Her and her crazy dynamics that come into play make him even more interesting. Like we've said here before, people weren't really talking about Blueface before Chrisean, and now we're interested. However, Blueface has a lot of faults of his own, of course. He's put his hands on her. They've had a toxic, tumultuous relationship. He's said bad things to her. But when I observe them, he always seems like the more quiet one, the more reserved, relaxed one who's always chilling. We saw in a recent episode of their show when he wanted to go to bed, he wanted to go to sleep, and it pissed Rock off, and she chunks the bottle at him in the back of his head and busts his head open. We saw it, right? They talked about it in this interview. Now, when she was going crazy, the part that was blowing my mind is when he got her sent out and she's going crazy, how they're literally holding her and she is kicking like a fucking 4-year-old who didn't get the present that she wanted on Christmas. she's kicking and screaming to the point that she kicks this big huge TV that they have in their little studio and damages the damn TV. I would be like, she's paying for that shit. Somebody get on that quick, because she's paying for that. Because you want to throw a tantrum. And did y'all see, like, she had to have been drunk when she got there, because she had, like, that much, what was she drinking? I can't even, the brown liquor, Hennessy. She had a little bit, that much Hennessy in her cup, and she drank that. That was not going to make her act like that. She had already been drinking prior to getting to the studio to film that interview. So it was just crazy, crazy, crazy. Like, another thing, we're going back to the host. I did feel like he was doing a lot. He was doing too much. And I can see how Chrisean probably thought he was taking the man's side for the most part, because he was dick sucking on Blueface quite a bit. I'm just from my perspective, he was sucking the balls, everything. Like, and there's nothing wrong with giving your fellow brother, you know, his accolades, giving him his props, giving him the recognition he deserves, pumping him up. But I'm like, I could see why Chrisean was thinking, like, because he was making little slick comments, like, to her, like, will you come back when you sober? And I understand he's being serious in a way, like, I want to talk to you when you're sober, but maybe the female host should have asked that. I don't know. Was that just me? For those of you who saw that interview, did y'all feel like the male host, Sharp, I think was what they were calling him, did it not feel like he was doing a lot to y'all? I feel like he was doing a lot, and it's a lot of points in the interview he was talking so much. He, like, Blueface was trying to say something, and every time Blueface would say something, dude was just he wouldn't shut up. I'm just like, shut up, dude. This is not about you. This is not about you. This is not your interview. You're the host. Ask your questions and let it slide and let it go. Now, let's get into, which, back to that interview, y'all notice how Chrisean they locked her outside for a long time until she finally calms down. She came in at the tail end of the interview. She was still kind of being passive aggressive, didn't really want to be there, was ready to get it moving on with. And I completely understand. At the beginning, when they were asking her and him about getting hit in the head with the bottle, her busting him upside the head with the bottle, and she was like, next question, like, why are you answering this? I don't want to. He should have respected that. She should have respected that. Hey, look, we don't want to talk about it right now. It's just going to create drama, whatever. At least that's the way I would have looked at it. I would have been like, hey, my partner don't want to talk about it right now. Can y'all move on to something else? And the host should have maybe acknowledged that too. Or maybe that's their strategy, is to dig deep when it comes to these interviews, and they wanted to talk more about it. Everybody's interview style is different, so who knows. Now let's get into Chrisean being pregnant. So Chrisean announced on Twitter that she is pregnant in what seems to be a Twitter war back and forth between her and Blueface. Blueface will tweet something, she will retweet it with what she thinks about it. He'll respond, and then he'll tweet something else, and she will So let's start with the tweets from January 20th, where he says, to answer y'all's questions, yes, me and Rock are officially done. It's strictly business. I tried, and it clearly wasn't giving before she announces. She's pregnant with somebody else's child, not mine. Now, Rock retweeted that with her own message to it. She responded to it by saying, so what happens when you eat all your evil words? I haven't sexually been active with no one but you. And plus, there's a DNA test, and I don't need your money. I got my own. I don't need a baby daddy. I'm just having this child because I don't want to keep aborting. Now, that was a lot. Can we get into that? First of all, she says, I haven't been sexually active with no one. I don't believe that. In this No Jumper interview, the host asks Blueface, has she cheated on you before? And he very quickly, without hesitation, said, oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. And I'm sure he's cheated on her before. I'm sure he has. But Rock, you can't act like you have not cheated before. We even saw you on a recent episode when you landed back in LA coming from Oklahoma from your court case, and you were pissed at him because he wasn't at home when you landed and he was in Las Vegas. You were on your phone talking about, let me show you what I'm visiting to do. I got dudes in my phone. I got this, and that. And Blue also said during this interview that she has a list of men, a physical list of men that she goes to when things aren't going well with him and her. And he said that she, a lot of times, fucks with the same dude a lot of times too. He'll keep seeing the same man, the same men over and over again. Now, their relationship is so bipolar because right before that, she tweeted, "Happy birthday, baby daddy." Then after that, that's when they had all the baby mama drama, fighting back and forth. And then they flipped the switch again. And he says, I know y'all thought she was all about me. Me too, LOL. But the facts are facts. Being my baby mama would be a blessing. And she says, it's a blessing to have a rock like me. And here they go. They keep going. He says, Rock hasn't had... And sorry, y'all, that previous message I just read, that previous tweet I just read, I thought he was saying her being his baby mother was a blessing, but he was actually shading her. I read it wrong. He said the facts are the facts. Being my baby mama would be a blessing. So he's pretty much saying, like, you want to be my baby mama, but you're not because you cheated on me. He said, Rock has had encounters with 10 different men in the last year. Until I see a DNA test, then it's not mine. Chrisean responded and said, Blue, tread lightly. God don't like ugly for real. Boy, I don't need you, LOL. I want you. That's the difference. She said, promise you, I don't need a cent from you. Then when we do a DNA test and it's yours, just know I'll tell my children that you died so you wouldn't have an excuse to be in the child's life. This my baby, and that's that. Can we talk about how she said she's no longer having any more abortions? So she's had abortions for him? Is that what I'm thinking? Is that what we're reading? She's had abortions before him? Is that what it was? Like, I don't know. What's the case? It's sad to think about. I mean, I'm not against abortions. I'm not a woman, so I don't really speak on that whole situation. I leave that up to women and healthcare professionals. I try to stay out of that. However, it is good, I guess, that she's keeping this one. I know, like, it's sad that she says she's had to have that many abortions. Like, damn. Not judging her at all. It's just sad because I don't know what she went through to get to that point to where she had to have one. Was she in a financial place to have? I don't know. I try not to judge in those situations. She said we broke up before knowing I was pregnant. I still ain't do nothing sexual with any dude. I'll be a dumbass if I didn't know for certain. Just say you scared and that's fine. Just leave me alone. Well, doesn't he already have a baby by someone else? I don't think he's scared. I think is what it is that I don't think he sees himself with Rock long term. I really don't. The relationship is so toxic, and I think she's obsessed with him. She's a stage 5 clinger when it comes to him. That interview showed it, where she was like, Blue, no. When they were trying to take her out of the room, she was like screaming crazy over him like an obsessed fan. Which I'm interested to see how she's so crazy about him. How does she go on the road and film baddies? Is he there with her? Because I feel like on Baddies South, he would be in all the different clubs with them. So does he, like, follow in a car behind the bus or ride on the bus? I don't know. I just don't see her leaving him in the house while she goes on the road to film Baddies West. She says, "Don't be the first person on social media to hurt me. Blueface, stop tweeting like a bitch. You look evil as fuck right now." He says, "In the name of Jesus." She says, "Just know I said it first. This ain't finna be good for you. People like this don't get anywhere but humbled by Jesus. Protect him, God, please. I really need him to see it through and be a man about shit instead of immature. I don't know, even know why you talking at all right now. Shut up. Kick back before you reap what you sow." Chrisean's probably drunk tweeting this as we speak. I hope she's not. I hope you're not pregnant and drinking, Rock, because these tweets don't make much fucking sense. It's all running together. You're not making a lot of sense. She said, "You acting like I'm gonna ask you for shit. Do you want just not work together? I can take my money elsewhere, for real. This shit wicked." Done tweeting about a weird ass LA ninja. He tweets, "Lord, please." She says, "Lord, please tell him stop capping." One girl tweeted, a fan by the name of the Rose Garden, tweeted, "That one clip of Chrisean kicking and screaming does not show the fact that they had spent the last 15 minutes talking over her, calling her drunk when she was being very clear, and dismissing her while she was asking to change the triggering subject over and over again." Now, I agree with that 50%. I do, because at one point she was clear, in my opinion, when it came to, like I said, the whole why was she crying, the period or the being pregnant thing. Like, I think she was clear in that, and there was just a miscommunication between her and the host. The host wasn't understanding what she was trying to say. Him calling her drunk over and over again, that triggered it. Even though she was drunk and he was stating the obvious, it added fuel to the fire. When you call a drunk person drunk, it just makes them even more drunk and crazy, right? And dismissing her, yeah, there was some in there was, but again, I feel like Rock set the tone of this interview, because when she came in, she was very, like, in this big coat, sitting back, not really wanting to say shit, like, I don't want to be here. And automatically the energy shifted in the air, and the host, when that happened, the host kind of shifted a little bit, even though, like I said, this host did a terrible job, in my opinion. He was over talking a lot. He was obnoxious. He was doing way too much. Maybe the female should have hosted it. I don't know. Maybe just the female should have done the questions. Now, let's see. Is there anything else? Not really on her Twitter. Not really anything else on here. But I mean, look, this doesn't surprise me. I feel like I lost brain cells watching this shit. These two get on my goddamn everlasting nerves. I get tired of talking about these two motherfuckers, but y'all are invested. Baddies West comes on tomorrow, and we will be reviewing that. We will be talking about that. So I hope you all are going to be around to experience that. It will be the official after show. We're doing our own little Zeus after show over here for Crazy in Love and for Baddies West. At the end of the day, when it comes to Chrisean and Blueface, they need to break up. I'd be lying if I didn't say I hope they do break up. Or I'd be lying if I said I hope they don't break up. They need to. They need to, for the betterment of both of them. It's too toxic. Somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody's going to get killed. God forbid. The way that they treat one another, specifically Rock. I see more aggression come from Rock. I'm just going to keep it real. I've seen more times of her being physically violent and aggressive than I ever have seen with Blueface. I think he deserves better, honestly. Is he a dog? Does he cheat on her? Yes, he probably does, but he probably does it because she does it. And most of the time, listen, I take the women's side in a lot of things because I relate to women a lot. I think like a woman in a lot of different things, in a lot of different scenarios. So I defend women in a lot. But Blueface is just dating someone who is not on the same level as him when it comes to maturity levels. She's just immature as fuck. And I think she's got daddy issues. I think she's got family issues, issues of growing up, just in her childhood. So many different things that she needs to work on as an individual before she continues in this toxic ass shit that she's in with Blueface. And you need to let him go, girlfriend, because you smother him. It's sad to watch the obsession over this man. And I think he keeps her around for his career. And that somewhere deep down he loves her, but he doesn't want to leave her at the same time. And it's just a big clusterfuck of confusion. I don't know. Tell me what y'all think. What did you think about the no jumper interview that Chrisean and Blueface did? How do you feel about her behavior? Do you think her behavior was justified and the hosts were talking over her and dismissing her and that she was entitled to act that way? Or do you feel like she went overboard, she went too far, and her attitude was stank throughout the whole thing? Also, how do you feel about the tweets and the Twitter war that her and Blueface got into? Whose side are you on? Do you think Blueface is in the wrong? Do you think she is in the wrong? Also, do you think she's cheated on him? Has she cheated on him? Is this baby by him? I believe the baby is by him. I'm not going to say I don't. However, if she's cheating, there's a chance that it's not his. But let's face it, she's around this man most of the time, and they have no shortage of sex in their life. We've seen that because they posted sex tapes online. She's went live fucking him and eating this and that. So I think the baby probably is his, but I think he needs to get out while he can. Just my opinion. I want to hear from you. Make sure you join the conversation by commenting below. Don't forget to subscribe to the video. Subscribe right underneath here. And hit the thumbs up button. When you hit the thumbs up button and like this video, that's going to share the video out so more people can find us. I love you all so much for tuning in. We'll see you soon on Damieon After Dark. See ya.